In a world driven by deadlines, expectations, and the perpetual push for control, there's a quiet kind of weariness that settles into the soul. It arises not from lack of effort, but from too much of it, from the relentless trying to manage, perfect, and force life into a shape it refuses to take. This exhaustion often feels like time slipping away, like we are missing the very thing we are trying so hard to hold on to. The more we grip, the more elusive life becomes, like trying to clutch water in our hands. The video on Wu Wei begins here, in the raw fatigue of over-control, and gently guides us toward a radically different way of being. Wu Wei, a foundational concept from Taoism, translates loosely as non-doing or effortless action, but it's far from passivity. Instead, it's a call to live in harmony with the natural flow of existence, to act, but without force, to move but not against the current. Imagine a dancer not thinking through every step, but becoming one with the music, or a surfer riding the wave, not trying to change it, but attuning perfectly to its rise and fall. Wu Wei is about that attunement. It's about trusting that there is an underlying intelligence to life, and that peace is found not in controlling it, but in aligning with it. This principle is rooted deeply in the philosophies of Taoism and Zen, both of which advocate for a direct experience of reality, rather than analyzing, dissecting, and attempting to control the world. These traditions emphasize presence, being here, now fully. The moment we try to grasp life conceptually or impose our will upon it, we begin to separate ourselves from it. We become tangled in mental stories and expectations, and in doing so, lose touch with the vibrant immediacy of the present moment. Taoism, through the lens of Wu Wei, gently reminds us that life is not a problem to be solved, but a mystery to be lived. Alan Watts, the British philosopher who became a vital bridge between Eastern and Western thought, plays a significant role in how these ideas are understood in the modern world. With poetic clarity, he spoke of Tao and Zen not as exotic teachings to be studied from a distance, but as living truths that call for deep surrender. Watts often emphasized that the root of our suffering lies in the attempt to control what is inherently uncontrollable. The more we resist the flow of life, the more we try to paddle upstream, the more we suffer. And in contrast, the more we relax into what is, the more we discover a kind of effortless grace that has been there all along. One of Watts's most powerful metaphors involves the river. He describes a person struggling against the current, flailing and tiring themselves out, while the river continues on. Indifferent to the struggle, the river represents life, always flowing, always moving. Our resistance doesn't change the direction of the current. It only exhausts us. But when we surrender, when we allow ourselves to be carried, something extraordinary happens. We begin to move with life rather than against it. We begin to flow. This is where the video gently critiques the Western mindset, a worldview built on effort, discipline, and the belief that everything worthwhile must be earned through struggle. While there is value in perseverance, this cultural narrative often leads to an invisible kind of imprisonment, one where our identities are chained to productivity. Success is measured by output, and rest feels like guilt. The anxiety and tension that come from always needing to get somewhere disconnect us from where we are. We lose the art of simply being, of feeling the richness of the moment without needing it to be any different. But Wu Wei invites a return. It asks us to listen again to ourselves, to nature, to the quiet rhythm of things. And in this listening, there's wisdom. Applying Wu Wei in modern life doesn't mean abandoning all responsibility or withdrawing from the world. Rather, it means showing up with awareness. It means doing less, but doing it with more presence. It means choosing actions that feel aligned, rather than those rooted in fear or compulsion. It's a conscious rebellion against the logic of scarcity, the idea that there's never enough time, love, or worth, and a return to the abundant stillness of being. This principle can express itself in countless ways. It might mean pausing before making a decision and asking whether it arises from alignment or anxiety. It could look like trusting a project to unfold at its own pace, rather than forcing it to meet an arbitrary deadline. It may mean accepting a moment of sadness without trying to fix it, recognizing that even this too is part of the flow. Wu Wei is not a technique but a disposition, a shift from control to trust, from grasping to allowing. And as the video concludes, it offers a gentle but radical truth. Transformation happens not through effort alone, but through surrender. When we stop fighting with life and begin to move with it, we discover a new kind of freedom, one that's not earned, but revealed. In letting go, we don't lose ourselves. We find ourselves anew, not as rigid identities, but as participants in a greater unfolding. Wu Wei doesn't promise a life free from pain or difficulty, but it does offer a way to relate to life with more grace, humility, and openness. It teaches that wisdom is not in knowing, but in allowing. That fulfillment comes not from mastering life, but from dancing with it, from recognizing that we are not separate from the flow, but of it. In this dance, the tension softens, the anxiety dissolves, and a quiet joy arises. The joy of being part of something far more beautiful and mysterious than control could ever contain.